Hey everyone, Fully Stream here. Wanted to give you a quick rundown on the recent small update, version 1.72. If you aren't, it's just a really small update, a little small change, and you may have noticed it already when you got on Fortnite today. The chat is now disabled. I want to call it the trade chat and the founders chat are both disabled. However, the team chat, meaning when you get into games and you pair with others, that will not be disabled. The reason why this is disabled, according to one of the Fortnite representatives, it starts out by saying, "Hey everyone, we will be disabling global and founders chat while we work on improvements to their functionality. Global chat and founders chat was introduced to be used as a group-oriented tool to engage and cooperate with fellow players. It has not accomplished these goals and has begun to affect performance. The team is heads down working towards making major improvements to the system, and we will enable global and founders chat when this work is complete." So, as you I feel like everyone that's played this game has experienced it at least once. You have a lot of spam going on. You have some random links to scamming sites that you definitely do not want to trust, because if you could pay for weapons, I'm pretty sure you'd know straight from Epic. And however, you cannot use sites to pay for guns. You can't use sites to pay for V-Bucks either. So, like, when you see things like that, just ignore it. Well, I guess you have no choice but to ignore it, because now you're probably not going to see it unless you have those bots that are, I'm just going to call them bots. I don't know exactly if it's a real player or not, because I mean, I've seen dudes like spam links for like hours while I was on. So just want to call it, like, as I see it, possibly a bot. Well, you may have those inside your team games, and I would just say just ignore it. You do have the option to ignore people in the chat. I believe you press triangle, or if you're on Xbox, I believe it's Y. I'm not sure what the buttons are for a keyboard. However, there is that option if you want to mute a player inside of the chat. And that's pretty much it, guys. They're going to be fixing on that, working on that. Hopefully the chat can be what it used to be. A lot of you may not know, but it actually used to be a useful tool to use. A lot of us, including myself, used to use the chat for SSDs. You get a decent amount of mini llamas from SSDs if you do it yourself, or if you want to help people. And there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to need their SSD done, and the chat was always like a gold mine for those mini llamas, for helping people. I mean, you help them and you get help yourself by getting some really cool resources like gold and what have you. So I think this is a great response to the scamming sites that was continuously being posted. Also, people that were spamming sites, and it wasn't just one, like you'd have multiple people in the same chat just spamming, like copy pasting and then just pasting it over and over again inside the chat. And what that did was actually slow performance on your game. So if you were in a session and the global chat's open and the person spamming a website over and over again, that would actually slow down your session performance. And this was a big deal. As you already know, we are already experiencing lag, so it's bad enough as it is, and we definitely do not need the extra lag with the whatever people are trying to do with your debit cards. So Epic has already stated this. They have it on VR. I'm not sure if they have it on SCW loading screens right now. However, on VR, they have I think it's the Cuddle Soldier, and she will say things like, don't trust websites that give V-Bucks and weapons, because that doesn't exist. So same for here, same for SCW, it works exactly the same. Once again, I encourage you to not use these sites. Just play the game, find people that you like to play with. Maybe they'll have some weapons for you. If you want to quote-unquote trade with them, then that's okay. I definitely recommend you only do stuff like that with people that you absolutely trust and people that you feel comfortable playing with. A lot of the time in the chat, I mean, they're going to be fixing it, so I don't know how it's going to be in the future. But for now, like, you want to have this thought that you only want to drop things for people that you trust. If you do not trust them, if you've never met them before, I do not recommend you drop anything for them unless like it's a extra resource that you have that you don't need, and you're just like, yeah, whatever. What could be the harm done if I drop this person so and so? So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be one of those guys that, you know, are in the chat going like, I got scammed for all my weapons. I mean, I don't even know why you guys are dropping, like, some of you are literally dropping just everything that you have for something that's like low durability stuff just because it's legendary. Like, I want to explain to you guys that legendary is not like the be all end all. I mean, it's cool, it's shiny, it's gold shiny weapon, but it's not like the most powerful thing that you're ever going to wield. Like, there are some epic weapons like the Founders Revolt that is super sick. Wish that we could freaking upgrade that to legendary, but you know, here I am telling you that you know, legendary isn't all that, and I'm saying like I wish the epic version of the Founders Revolt was legendary. But it's just like, I agree with you. I agree. I understand like how shiny and cool it looks, like how like ugly, like having like 2 legendaries in your slot and you just have that epic one. You're just like, I don't. Like, I'm using you for now just because I don't have the legendary version of you. Like, I understand that feeling, but like, just don't be one of those guys that just automatically flip out when someone's like, hey, I got some cool legendaries for you, when you know, you probably only have epics at the time and you're just so desperate to use like a new shiny weapon. Like, there's always going to be new weapons out there for you guys, some easier obtainable than others. Like, for example, the event llama that we have right now, the road trip tickets, it'll drop you have a chance of getting a legendary weapon, you have a chance of getting a legendary hero. So just start out with those, build up on your collection, and these are schematics, mind you. The weapons that you are being dropped are not schematics. If you don't understand what that is, for Fortnite, schematics are blueprints for weapons that you can craft an infinite amount of times as long as you have the resource. So the weapons that you are quote unquote trading for, I'm saying quote unquote because like, it's not real. Trading is not a real thing in this game. I'll go over that in a second. The weapons that are being dropped to you will eventually break, and then you'll be back to like that extra, like, you want that like more of a dose to get some more weapons, so that you're back in trade chat, you're trying to you know, convince people why they should drop their stuff, and you know, it's a gamble because, you know, trading is not a real thing, and because it's not a real thing, really, essentially all you're doing is just dropping a weapon or a resource, and then you have the other guy pick it up. That's not trading, because that can go wrong in so many ways. Like, I've seen people like, I some of you may already know what I do sometimes. I would go into the chat and I'll be like, hey, I'm dropping some weapons here, I don't need some, or I've got some resources that I can burn, so like, I'll craft you guys some guns. Or sometimes if you guys ask for extra stuff, I'd be like, hey, okay, if you got this resource, I'll craft this for you. Or if you don't have that resource but you have something else that I may need, like, let's just say herbs, like, you can compensate for the 130 I'm about to drop you. Like, I don't mind, I can farm every resource at the moment, so, you know, I'm not losing anything. I love playing Fortnite, and you know, one way or another I will get those resources back, so that's not a big deal to me. And that's like that, unless like someone is dropping you these things for, like, you know, out of goodwill, like, you know, but you will never be able to tell. Like, that's the thing. So you don't want to take that chance. You don't know these guys. They're not your friends. They're just random dudes, and they're going through the trend of scamming people. They're going through the trend of just like ruining your experience for Fortnite. You don't want to be one of those guys. Trading. A good example for trading in a game, and it's one of the best examples to date, in my opinion, is Warframe. Warframe, I know this is a Fortnite game right now, and I'm like advertising Warframe a little bit. Warframe is an amazing game. for many reasons. And one of the reasons that we're going to talk about here, because it's relevant, is the trading. There is an actual game mechanic for trading. And what that would look like is you have, let's just call it a base. For some of you that don't play Warframe, let's just call this a base. Like, you invite someone to your quote-unquote base, and then they have a console that they walk up to, they tap the prompt, whatever that button is, and the host is requested, or the host can do it as well, whichever, whoever wants to do it first, it doesn't matter. And that, like, each of you put down a resource that you agreed to trade, like literally trade. This is a real thing in Warframe, trading. And what happens is, after both of you put your resource down, you have the option to accept the trade. But however, both of you need to put that down, or else either you or the other player does not need to tap the trade button. And it'll even give you a second option. Like, it'll say, these are the things that this player has, and these are the things that he's offering you, and you can check. And you also have an option to cancel the trade. So you have X amount of time to say, like, to make your decision whether or not the agreement was met. And that's how it is. Like, there's rarely ever, I haven't heard of anything like, I don't know, like anything unfair, because, like, you know what you're going in for. You see what the player is trying to give you, and you can decline it at any time. So that is trading. That's a legit trading game mechanic. Fortnite, as of right now, does not have something like that. You are not. I want to say, like, you're not guaranteed the safety of a resource that you're looking for, a resource like a weapon or whatever you're trying to use the trade chat for. You're not guaranteed to get what you're looking for, and that's okay. You do not need other people's help in that way to make progress in the game. Like, I've bumped into a couple of game sessions where, like, these dudes are saying they want legendary in order to progress, and I'm really dumbfounded. I don't know, like, who brought this up. However, I'm going to squash it now. You do not need legendary weapons to progress in a game. Like, there is no quest that says, like, you need to have a certain weapon in order to play. Like, you can dominate your sessions with any weapon now. Not especially now that you can use the perk recombobulator. Like, any weapon now can be viable. So if you've got like a epic version of a tiger jaw, for example, that's still viable. It's super good. And as I said, I totally understand, like, you want the shiny gold weapon. For lots of you BR players that are just coming to SCW, like, I understand, like, the feeling of finding a gold weapon and BR, but here there's so many of them that it's just gonna become, like, meh. Like, you're gonna get so many legendaries from llamas in the future that you're not gonna know what to play with. And that's it. That's it. Like, you don't need you don't need certain weapons. People, I'm gonna just say, like, there are kids out there or whoever, just saying that just to have, like, a legendary weapon. And learn to be your own person. Learn to be your own player. Like, when I first started playing this game, I was alone, and what I did was I watched YouTube players. Like, I watched how they were playing. They were teaching me. Some of the YouTubers that I love to watch is David Dean and A1 Get This Money, and they are amazing players. They know what they're talking about, and I learned a lot from them, and I started doing my own thing from their tutorials. So try to grow in your own way. Like, don't expect other players to carry you, as that is a thing now. Like, you got, like, people, like, higher tier players bringing lower tiers into, like, Twine, and then it's not even a private session, it's a public session, and it's just that's, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that guy, because first of all, you're not going to even be killing much, and it's just, like, it's not fun if you can't do for yourself. Maybe that's just me. So Thank you guys for listening to this video or watching, whichever you're doing. And if you got any questions about this little update, put it in the comments below. What do you think the update, when it comes back at least, and who knows how long that's going to be, like what do you think that is going to look like? Do you think that we're actually going to have a game mechanic for trading? Do you think we're going to have some type of game mechanic where we can look for players for sessions? Do you think that we'll be able to do SSDs of our choice? Right now there is not a choice to do SSDs. If you go to the question mark, play with others, there's not an option to specifically do SSDs. So maybe that could be in the chat mechanic, like, you know, looking for this type of session, like, you know, group missions, Ride to Storm. So like so many ideas that comes to my mind, but maybe you got some as well. So definitely leave it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. See you soon.